and predict the movement of exchange rate, okay, in the future for the decision making. Yes, and these economic theories are called international price conditions. Okay? And these international price conditions form the core of financial theory that's unique to international finance only. Yeah, very important in international finance. So now I'm hoping all of you understand the meaning of international price conditions. This is the technical term in finance, especially very popular terminology in international finance. And now next, why you have to study international price conditions? What the motivation? You have to study these very important price conditions, very important economic theories in international settings. Because later on, whenever you have to make decision concerning exchange rate, the very first step for you to make decision is to be able to predict the future spot rate, to forecast any changes, potential changes in exchange rate. That's the point. Okay. How to make a prediction about changes in exchange rate in the near future? How? All the technique so far in literature, all the technique completely based on these international price conditions. Okay, trust me. Even nowadays, you have fast development of technology. Even nowadays, you have AI, you have machine learning, you have ChatGPT, no matter what. Okay, all of that computer program completely built up based on international price condition. Okay. So now I'm hoping you have a nice motivation to focus your study on these very important economic theories in international settings. Okay, so now let's go in detail. I'm not going to use all these textbook slides for my presentation, for my lecture. No, okay, no. It's all the textbook definition, all the textbook example actually somehow not easy for you to understand. So I decided to use my way, okay? How? To help you out, to help you better understand these four important economic theories about international price condition. How my way? And what my way? Let's make a big jump into the last slides of presentation. Here we go. Okay. And let me present and show it. Okay. Okay. And then let me activate a pen because we have a virtual class, right? We don't have a physical board. And okay, here we go. And now, as you can see on the screen, there are many alternative economic theories in international finance that allow you to make prediction about the movement of exchange rate in the future, all about forecast change in exchange rate in the future, right? And let's count how many theories concerning international price condition. How many theories you're going to learn? The first one, the triple P, or purchasing power parity theory, the law of one price. This theory completely depends on the law of one price. You have the Fisher effect theory. You have international Fisher effect. You have interest rate parity. Yeah, we have four. There are four economic theories that allow you to predict changes in exchange rates in the future. Now, let's go to the very first one, purchasing power parity, a triple P theory. I get this real quick because I'm assuming you already familiar with this theory, right? Probably you have learned or studied about this theory in other courses such as international business, right? Course. And then you already learn about purchasing power parity theory. This theory actually based on the law of one price. The law of one price states that for identical products or services, if these products are sold in two different markets, and if we assume that the market is perfect, no market friction, no transaction cost, no transportation cost, no government interference or intervention, no taxes, no import export quota, and then we should expect identical product should be sold in different markets at the same price. Otherwise, arbitrage opportunity exists. Okay, and if, let's say, at a given point of time, you observe identical products sold in two different markets at different prices, and then arbitrage opportunity exists, and then the investor arbitrager in the markets, they quickly exploit that profit opportunity, and then very quick, sooner or later, all of violation of law one price gone, disappear, and then the market go back to equilibrium, so that the same product sold in different markets must be priced the same, exactly the same. Yeah? That's the law of one price and purchasing power parity. We'll just have discussion on the law of one price, and then let's move on and discuss purchasing power parity. Suppose iPhone 14 Pro Max, okay, so in Singapore for $1,000, but at the same time in Vietnam, in Ho Chi Minh City, you observe that the same products, okay, iPhone 14 Pro Max is sold in Ho Chi Minh City for 24 million Vietnam dong. And then implicitly, you should infer that exchange rate between US dollar and Vietnam dong should be 24,000 Vietnam dong for $1. Okay, to make sure that the same products, iPhone 14 Pro Max, no matter what, sold in Singapore or sold in Ho Chi Minh City, should be priced the same. Okay, based on the exchange rate that you observe. See? You understand? And later on, you learn that one iPhone 14 Pro Max actually sold in Vietnam for more Vietnam dong. They're signaling to you purchasing power Vietnam dong actually go down. Yeah? Vietnam dong currency lose its purchasing power, or inflation in Vietnam goes up. That's make the Vietnam dong weaker against US dollar, and that's why for the same product, iPhone 14 in Singapore sold the same, okay, $1,000 US, but in Vietnam now one iPhone 14 is sold for more Vietnam dong, let's say 25,000, not 24,000 anymore, 25,000 Vietnam dong, or 25 million Vietnam dong, not 24 million. Okay, and then signaling to you exchange rate, the fair exchange rate between Vietnam dong and US dollar now should be 25,000 Vietnam dong per dollar, not 24 anyone. Why? Because inflation in Vietnam, the price level in Vietnam goes up, and that Vietnam dong losing its purchasing power against US dollar, and that's why exchange rate in Vietnam between Vietnam dong and US dollar should goes up, so that $1 can be converted to more Vietnam dong, and or Vietnam dong's depreciating value. Okay. I'm not sure if you find anything makes sense to you. Any question you guys about purchasing power parity? And later on, we have actually purchasing power parity theory cannot help you to determine, to predict the movement of exchange rate in the future. No. We have to use relative purchasing power parity. That means you have to be able to tell, starting from market equilibrium, if you believe that inflation in Vietnam higher than, let's say 4%, higher than inflation in the United States, or inflation purchasing power parity or price level in the United States is 4% less than that in Vietnam. Okay, that's when you have to observe the difference in inflation between the two countries. And then yes, you can predict the movement exchange rate between Vietnam dollar and US dollar in the future. Yes. How? Let me say it one more time. About relative purchasing power parity or inflation in Vietnam in relative to inflation in the United States. Okay. The RPPP. Suppose starting from market equilibrium and then things change, right? The economic fundamentals change. And then you believe that in the near future, you expect inflation in Vietnam will be 4%. Now go back to the textbook. Inflation in Japan will be 4% less than inflation in the United States. Or you believe that starting from market equilibrium and in the near future, inflation in the United States is 4% higher than that in Japan. Okay, and then you should expect Japanese yen currency going to be depreciated in value against dollar, approximately by 4%. Why? Because if exchange rate between dollar and yen, Japanese yen, not the movement of exchange rate between US dollar and Japanese yen, not flow that way, and then arbitrage opportunity exists. Yeah, and looks, we shouldn't observe a free lunch in the market, and hence, as long as inflation rate in Japan is 4% less than that in the United States, then we should expect Japanese yen strengthen approximately by 4% against dollar and vice versa. To make sure no arbitrage opportunity even exists. Okay? See? So I want you to take a look at the textbook. Starting from market equilibrium, if you believe that inflation in Japan going to be 4% less than inflation in the United States, then you should expect yen currency going to be appreciated in value against dollar. By how much? By approximately roughly 4%. Yeah, yen strengthened by 4% because inflation in Japan less than inflation in the United States by 4%. Okay, and vice versa, because inflation in the United States is higher than inflation in Japan by 4%, and then you should expect US dollar going to be depreciated against yen by 4%, or you should expect dollar is going to weaken just because inflation in the United States higher than that in Japan. So dollar going to be weakened, going to be depreciated in value against yen. Okay. So now I'm hoping you understand the RPPP. See, relative relative, I cannot write down the pen. It's very hard for me to manipulate the pen for my handwriting. Relative, okay, relative. Sorry. Oh, I use the mouse pad. to manipulate the pen. Very hard for me. So, any question concerning the fair first theory that allow you to make prediction about exchange rate in the future? Any question? Just text the question into the chat box. Yeah. You guys, anything make sense to you about relative purchasing power parity in predicting exchange rate in the future between the two countries? So why we have to use the RPPP rather than PPP to predict exchange rate in the future? Why? Because if you just simply use the PPP, that's not going to help you to predict exchange rate, movement of exchange rate in the future. Suppose starting from market equilibrium, and then you believe that inflation in Vietnam goes up by 4%. And then what? Sorry, you don't have enough information to make conclusion about the future spot rate between Vietnam dong and dollar. If you're just saying, if you believe, you expect inflation in Vietnam goes up by 4%, and then so what? We cannot tell anything. However, if you employ the RPPP, relative triple P, and then yes, you can tell. How? Say, starting from market equilibrium, if you believe that inflation in Vietnam is 4% higher than that in United States, okay, and then you can say that, you can predict that Vietnam dong currency going to be weakened against dollar because inflation in Vietnam higher than that in the United States. Inflation in the United States also goes up. Inflation in Vietnam also goes up. However, you believe that inflation in Vietnam going to be 4% higher than that in the United States. Even inflation in two countries still goes up in the near future, but inflation in Vietnam goes up more, 4% more. And then, okay, bingo. Now you can predict Vietnam dong currency going to be depreciated in value, go down in value by approximately 4% against US dollar. Okay. And given that you already understand the technique, how to calculate percentage change in particular currency against another currency. And yes, after you learn that Vietnam dong going to be depreciated by 4% against dollar. And now that's, yes, you can tell what the future spot rate will be. Okay. You can tell, you can calculate that, get that calculation done. Okay. Any question? Now let's move on to another theory, the Fisher effect. Okay. The Fisher effect. Okay, let's use the textbook slide to deliver my lecture about Fisher effect. Okay, Fisher effect. The Fisher effect show you relationship between nominal interest rate, inflation rate, and the real rate. Okay. How? Looks in approximate form, not exactly form, that you have the nominal rate equal the real rate plus inflation, or the real rate equal nominal rate minus inflation rate. For example, suppose at the beginning of the year, you put your saving money into a bank account, and the bank account offer you a nominal interest rate 10% a year. And then at the end of the year, you have a question: how much the return you actually earn on your investment, on your deposit account, bank deposit account, bank deposit, how much the return you actually earn after inflation. If in that year you learn that inflation rate in Vietnam up to 6%, and at the beginning of the year the bank offered you the nominal rate 10%, and according to the Fisher effect theory, the return you actually earn, the real return you actually earn after 1 year, approximately 4%, equal nominal rate 10% minus inflation rate 6%. Just approximately, yeah, not exactly, approximately, the real return you actually earn only 4%, approximately. See, now I'm helping you understand the Fisher effect theory. That just show you relationship between nominal rate, real rate, and inflation. Okay, easy to understand, right? Now, we have Fisher effect in correct term. Oh, it's not available in the slide. Incorrect term. In exactly form, not approximate form. Okay, this is just approximate form. Okay. Okay. Let me show you. Fisher effect in exact form. Make sure you understand the notation where small I denoted as a nominal interest rate, small r is denoted as a real interest rate, and pi expected inflation. Okay, now in exact form, let me show you. In exact form, not approximate. In exact form. Okay. And then you have 1 plus nominal rate exactly equal 1 plus real rate divided by 1 plus inflation rate. Okay, and then easily for you to compute the real rate that you actually earn after 1 year of your bank deposit. Okay, you put your money to the bank deposit account, right? How much the return you actually earn. Now you have the real rate equal sorry, this multiply, not divide. Okay, multiply, and you have a real rate equal 1 plus nominal rate divided by 1 plus inflation rate. Minus 1. Okay, and then from our example, the real rate you actually earn from your deposit account equal 1 plus 10% divided by 1 plus inflation rate 6%, and then minus 1, and then you got the real rate, the real return you actually earn after 1 year is approximately about, I don't know, I don't have a calculator here. Okay, I got it. Give me a couple seconds. Let me get a calculation done using my personal calculator. Okay. 1.1 divided by 1.06 and then 3.77%. Yeah. The return actually earned the real rate only 3.77%. In exact form, in approximate form, the real return you actually earn in exact form, the real return you actually earn small r equal 10% minus 6%, and then you can say the real return you actually earn approximately quickly 4%. 4% just approximately, not correctly, exactly. Okay. Exactly must be 3.77%. Okay. Now I'm hoping you understand the Fisher effect theory that link nominal interest rate, real rate, and inflation. Okay. Now let's go back to the diagram. Let's activate a pen. Okay. So now, starting from market equilibrium, if you believe that inflation in Japan going to be 4% less than inflation in the United States, and then you can tell that the nominal rate in Japan also 4% less than nominal rate in the United States. Why? Because otherwise arbitrage opportunity exists. Why? Because investors in the market, they care about the real interest rate. They don't care about nominal rate. So let me go back to, sorry. Let me go back to, okay, now, suppose you have inflation in Japan is 6%, only 2%. At the same time, you observe, you believe that you expect inflation in the United States 6%, right? Or you expect inflation in Japan is 4% less than inflation in the United States. And how you can tell about nominal rate between the two countries, in two countries. Okay, so according to the Fisher effect, right? Looks at beginning, right? At t equals 0, you observe the nominal rate in United States. The nominal rate I in United States. Okay, how about this? I dollar in United States, let's say 4%, let's say 3%, and then nominal rate in Japan, okay, yen, actually 5%, and then the market risk equilibrium, and then you believe that you expect inflation in Japan is goes up by 2%, and inflation in the United States goes up by increases by 6%. And then according to the Fisher effect, at t equals 1, the future spot rate, I'm sorry, the future nominal rate, you should expect at t equals 1, And then nominal interest rate in dollar will change, right? But change in the way so that the real interest rate between the two countries must be the same. Okay. So now at t=0, when the market reaches equilibrium, when the real interest rate in dollar exactly equal real interest rate in yen, and then yeah, the market reaches equilibrium. Why? Because the investor they only care about the real rate. You don't care about nominal rate. As long as real rate in Japan higher than real rate in the United States, and then the international investor quickly they move their capital to Japan to earn higher real rate there, and vice versa. So now you learn in international market, investors they only care about the real interest rate. They don't care about nominal rate. Okay, so at t=0, the market reaches equilibrium where the real rate in dollar exactly equal real rate in yen. Now, later on t=1. Okay, you expect the inflation in Japan 2% goes up by 2%, and United States goes up by 6% from market equilibrium. Yeah, and then according to the Fisher effect, we should expect the nominal rate in United States will be 9%. Okay, and in yen will be hold on. We should expect a nominal rate in, let's say in Japan, should be. Now let's do United States 5% and yen 3%. Okay, and then we expect inflation in Japan only goes up only 2% and United States 11%, right? And then now hold on. We also observe inflation in United States, let's say 1%. And also at that time, t=0, inflation in Japan, also 1%. Yeah, you got it? No. Inflation in 3%, and then inflation in Japan 1%. And then you got a real interest rate in dollar exactly equal real interest rate in yen exactly equal 2%. You follow me? 2%, and then the market what? And then the market is in equilibrium. Yeah, and then we expect inflation in Japan 2% goes up, and United States goes up by 6% more or 4% more. And then what happened then? According to the Fisher effect, we should expect nominal rate in United States goes up by how much? By 5%. Plus what? We don't know. And yen goes up by 3%. Plus what? We don't know. But we do know that eventually the real rate in the two markets must exactly equal each other. You follow me? You got it? Okay. And then let's write down. And let's say assume 11%, and then nominal rate in Japan, let's say 2%, 5%, right? And then let's calculate the real rate Let's calculate the real rate. The market in X will be in X equilibrium if only if the real rate, not nominal rate, between the country exactly the same. Let's calculate the real rate now. So you have goes up by 6% more, so with the 9%. So see the same 2%. Okay. How about if we expect inflation in Japan not goes up, but will be not goes up, but will be inflation in Japan will be 3%, and then inflation in the United States will be not increases, but will be okay, will be 6%, or will be let's say 4%. Okay, will be okay. At T equal 1, and then how to predict the nominal rate between the two countries. Okay, so if as long as if expect inflation in Japan will be 3%, in the United States will be 4%. And now what the nominal rate? Nominal rate. The nominal rate would be, let's say, let's find any number, okay? 4%, let's say 6%, okay? Then real rate, let's do 7%, okay? And then, so the real rate in United States will be 3%, okay? 3%, and then will be 6%, see? And then real rate between the two countries, the real rate, look at this, the real rate will be 3%. See, and then the market will be in X equilibrium. Done. Okay. See, this is a new nominal rate in United States. This is new nominal rate in Japan.
Teacher.
How do we know that? Hold on. Let me finish real quick. How do we know that the nominal rate in United States and Japan should look like this? Because after the market will be in X equilibrium if only if the real rate in Japan and real rate in United States will be the same. Okay, now let's find out. Real rate in United States 7% minus inflation 4% and 3%. Real rate in Japan 6% minus 3% inflation and 3%. Yes, and the market will be in X equilibrium. Yes. So the Fisher effect allows you to predict what? The nominal rate between the two countries. The changes in the nominal rate between the two countries. Yes. Okay. Yes, back to you. Yeah, you have a question, right? Go ahead.
I have a question that
yes.
The 7% is the real rate or what rate here?
7% here is a nominal rate. Small I, the small I is denoted from nominal rate. Yep,
okay.
Rate.
Okay, got it. Thank you, teacher.
Oh, you're good. Okay, good question. Nominal rate. I, small I denoted as a what? Nominal rate. Okay, and small r, real rate. Okay. The key point is based on the Fisher effect. The real rate between the two countries must be exactly the same as each other. Otherwise, arbitrage opportunity exists. Given the changes in inflation between the two countries, and then easily for you to predict the nominal rate between the two countries, predict the changes in the nominal rate between the two countries, so that the real rate between the two countries must exactly the same as each other. Okay, that's how you predict changes in the nominal rate between Japan and United States. Okay. Any question, you guys? Okay, let's go back to the Zoom window. Okay. So we done the Fisher effect, right? And now let's move on to international Fisher effect. International Fisher effects state that after you successfully predict changes in nominal rate between the two countries, let's say you predict that, you believe that nominal rate in Japan going to be 4% less than nominal rate in United States, and then you should be able to predict the yen currency strengthens and dollar weakens. Why yen strengthen? Because nominal rate in Japan lower than nominal rate in United States, and then yen must be appreciated in value approximately by 4%. Again, dollar. Or let me put this another way. Because nominal rate in United States higher than that in Japan by 4%, and then we should expect US dollar currency going to be depreciated in value approximately by 4%. Okay, see, nominal rate 4% less than in Japan. Nominal rate in Japan less than that in the United States by 4%, and then yen strengthen approximately by 4%. Lower interest currency will make that currency stronger. Higher interest rate currency will make that currency weaker to avoid any arbitrage opportunity in the future, to make sure no free lunch exists in perfect market. Okay, so we're done. Now, example. Let me give you example about international Fisher effect. Okay, example. Suppose at t equals 0, you have a nominal rate in dollar. Let's say 5%, and then you have a nominal rate in yen, 3%. Okay, and the current spot rate, you have 100 yen per dollar. Now, so according to based on international Fisher effect, right? Now you can predict what? The S1, the future spot rate. S1 will be equal S0 times 1 plus nominal rate. Nominal rate in United States or in yen, we never know. We don't know. We will have to find out later on. Okay. Divided by 1 plus nominal rate. In dollar or yen, we don't know. Yeah. Yeah, done. Okay. So look at this fraction. This fraction actually measure the difference in nominal interest rate between the two countries in exact form, not approximate form. If you want to calculate difference in exchange rate, in nominal rate, in inflation rate, in real rate between two countries in exact form, you have to do this ratio. Okay, and yeah, let's calculate how nominal interest rate in Japan different from that in United States, and then we do this ratio. Okay, 1 plus nominal interest rate in which country? Let's find out. In which country? That depends on the exchange rate quotation. The exchange rate, by looking at exchange rate quotation, you learn that yen currency, the price currency, are placed in numerator of a fraction, right? So the nominal interest rate also in the numerator of this fraction must be nominal interest rate in yen. Okay, must be yen accordingly, respectively. And then look at the denominator of this fraction. The nominal interest rate in the denominator of this fraction must be dollar accordingly. In accordance with exchange rate quotation. Okay, see, you see, yen numerator and then yen numerator, dollar denominator and then dollar denominator of the fraction. All right. So let's do it. And then you have suppose, and then S0. Yeah, right here you have S0. S0 is yen 100 per dollar, and then times 1 plus yen 3%. What? 1 plus 3% divided by 1 plus 5%. And we're done. Okay. Let me find out. Let me use calculator real quick. We have a 100 times 1.03 divided by 1.05. And yeah, the future spot rate will be 98.09 per dollar. So we're done. Okay, done. This is the final answer. Final answer. Okay, now check. At beginning, $1 can be converted into more yen. Later on, $1 can be converted into less yen, signaling to us dollar strengthen and yen weaken. Oh, dollar weaken and then yen strengthen. On the other hand, we have nominal rate in Japan lower than that in United States. So according to the International Fisher Effect, yen strengthen and dollar weaken. Okay, so based on International Fisher Effect, yen should be appreciated in value, right, versus US dollar. Yeah, should be. And now check the final number. Yes, dollar at later on $1 can be converted into less yen. That means yen strengthen. Exactly. See, exactly. So done. Now I'm hoping you understand the technique how to predict the future spot rate using difference in nominal interest rate between the two countries. Yeah, make sure you understand this formula. Yeah, this formula. Okay, suppose you have a currency X and currency Y, and then yeah, how to predict the future spot rate. Yeah, easy. See, you have currency X and then you have currency Y, where Y the base currency. Okay, and then nominal interest rate in X over 1 plus nominal interest rate in Y. Yes. Okay, make sure you understand this formula. This formula allows you to predict a future spot rate based on difference between difference in nominal interest rate between the two countries. Yeah. Any question, you guys? Any question? Where the currency that offer high interest rate will weaken, and the currency that offer low interest rate, lower nominal interest rate will strengthen. Okay. And assuming you don't have question, let's go back to the Zoom window. Okay, back to the slide. Okay. So we're done for the third theory, right? The last one, and then that's all for today. The last one. Let me activate the pen. Okay, the virtual pen. Now the last one. the interest rate parity. The interest rate parity allows you to calculate the forward rate. Okay, and nowadays, in reality, in practice, many bank dealer, non-bank dealer, how they calculate the forward rate to offer to their clients. How they actually nowadays in practice they calculate the forward rate, which is completely based on interest rate parity. That means completely based on a difference in nominal interest rate between the two countries of the currency. Okay. So now, according to the interest rate parity, the market, as long as the market is perfect, and then the movement of exchange rate in the future spot rate will be determined in a way so that it guarantees the parity condition of interest rate, of nominal interest rate, of difference in nominal interest rate between the two countries. The parity condition. Parity condition, that means no arbitrage opportunity exists or parity condition. Yeah. So, for example, at the beginning, the market is in equilibrium, and then you predict that because of the terrible war between Russia and Ukraine, and then you predict that the nominal rate in Japan will be 4% less than nominal rate in the United States. And then according to the interest parity, investor will be selling yen forward at premium, and investor will be selling dollar at discount. Dollar weakened in value. Why? Because nominal interest rate in dollar higher than that in Japan, and then dollar will weaken, and investor will be selling dollar forward at discount, and investor in the market will be selling Japanese yen at premium. Okay, see, for premium in foreign currency, this means yen, okay, by 4%, or yen strengthened. Okay, and example. Now example. The same example. Okay, the same example. X equals 0. X equals 0. We observe nominal interest rate in the market risk equilibrium, and then we expect nominal interest rate in the United States will be 5%. Nominal interest rate in yen only 3%. And now at the same, right? The current spot rate is 100 yen can be converted into $1. Okay, $1. Where dollar is unique currency. Now, based on no longer international fish effect, but now based on interest rate parity condition, interest rate parity condition, yen should be selling forward at premium, or US dollar are selling forward at discount. Yeah. So this how people determine the forward rate and offer the forward rate to their clients, the dealer, okay, to their clients. Yeah, and then let's write down. Okay, you have right here, you have yen, and then right there you have USD, right? The formula, okay? So the formula to calculate the forward rate very much the same, basically the same. We just replace the future spot rate S1 by the default rate. Okay, and that's it. Okay, the default rate equal S0. Yeah, exactly the same. The same. Okay, and yeah, you have the default rate will be exactly the same number. The same. Okay, you follow me? And then in the market, as long as your assumption hold, right? See this assumption. This assumption at the beginning, what we have. Yeah, we observe this, right? And then, yeah, you can tell the future spot rate will be 98.09 yen per dollar. Or the forward rate determined today, offered to you right now today is, let's say the forward rate 6 months, right? Let's say 6 months. Okay. Yes, forward rate 6 months. Yeah, exactly the same formula. Yeah. Yep, you have a forward rate 6 months will be 98.09 yen. Yep, this is a forward. It's available to you today, offered to you by any bank or non-bank dealer. Yeah, the same. So go back to the diagram, and now you learn. You learn what? Let me show you quickly. Let me activate the pen again. Now you learn what? Based on the interest rate parity condition and international Fisher effect, and now you learn that the forward rate, okay, the forward rate determined today actually is unbiased prediction of future spot rate. Why unbiased prediction? Why? Because the future spot rate and the forward rate both based on difference in nominal interest rate between the two countries. Both end up at the same number. See? Both end up the same number. So that's why people saying forward rate actually unbiased prediction of future spot rate. See? Just on average, we should expect the future spot rate after 6 months on average, expectedly the same as a forward rate determined today. So both based on the same, the same difference between nominal rate in yen and nominal rate in US dollar, the same formula. Okay. So that's it. That's it, you guys. Yeah, we're done. We're done for everything from chapter 6 about the 4 important economic theories in international finance, namely the RPPP, the Fisher effect, international Fisher effect, the interest rate parity. Yeah, and what? Let me give you a good summary of the chapter 6. Good summary. What a good summary. Make sure you understand the key point. Yeah, we have RPPP. Okay, relative PPP. Why relative? You have to find out in the near future. You should expect inflation in Vietnam goes up, inflation in the United States also goes up. But if inflation in Vietnam goes up more, and then Vietnam dong weaken and dollar strengthen. Yeah, so that's why you have to find out change in inflation rate between the country or inflation in Vietnam in relative to inflation in the United States. Okay, if you just find out inflation in Vietnam only stand alone, that's not enough for you to predict movement of exchange rate in the future. You have to find out how movement in inflation in Vietnam in relative to movement in inflation in the United States, and then yes, you can tell, you can predict how Vietnam dong going to quicken or strengthen, and vice versa the dollar. Okay, so we're done for the first theory. The second theory, the Fisher effect. The Fisher effect telling you relationship between nominal rate, real rate, and inflation rate. And based on the Fisher effect, after you learn about inflation in Vietnam in relative to inflation in the United States, and then you can predict changes in nominal rate in Vietnam and nominal rate in United States. Okay. And based on the difference in nominal interest rate, you observe, you predict, you expect between Vietnam and United States. And then yes, according to the international Fisher effect, you can predict the future spot rate. Okay, between Vietnam dollar and US dollar. And also based on the same input, okay, difference in nominal interest rate between Vietnam and United States, you can calculate the forward rate between Vietnam dollar and US dollar right now today. Okay, you can tell whether or not investors selling Vietnam dollar forward at discount or premium, no matter what, or what international investor, they are selling dollar forward at premium or discount. Okay. And yeah, based on both interest rate parity in international Fisher theory, you can say that the forward rate determined today actually is unbiased predictor of future spot rate because they're the same. If everything remain unchanged, then you should expect the future spot rate exactly the forward rate determined today. If nothing changes, they remain the same from the day you calculate the forward rate, and then yeah, you should expect on average the future spot rate very much the same, exactly the same, the forward rate you calculated today. Okay, so we're done. Any question, you guys? Any question? You guys, are you still there? Are you still watching?
Teacher,
Yes, sir.
I
Okay.
have a question that
Oh, sure. Yes, yes. Go ahead.
because we forecast change in spot exchange rate and forecast different in rates of inflation by the relative purchasing power parity. So it means that we know about the forecast change in spot rate exchange, and then we have the forecast different in rate of inflation, right? So after the forecast different rate of inflation, we have Fisher effect. Then we have the different in nominal interest rate. But I have listened that you say with the different in nominal interest rate and the international Fisher effect, we can have the forecast change in spot exchange rate.
Yes.
It means we check again for the forecast before or what? Because it's like when you use the relative purchasing power parity, it means you have know about one or two, like forecast change in spot exchange rate or the forecast different in rate of inflation, right?
Okay. Okay. Good point. Let me explain the question. Okay. Good question. Now, look, suppose based on your information that you collected, right? And based on your own analysis, you believe that inflation in Japan will be lower than that in United States in the near future by, let's say, 4%. And then, yeah, based on difference in inflation rate between the two countries, yes, you can predict the future spot rate, yes. So that yen strengthen and dollar weaken. Why yen strengthen? Because inflation in Japan lower than inflation in the United States, and yen should be strengthened. Okay, the future spot rate will be determined so that yen strengthen approximately by 4% against dollar to make sure no arbitrage opportunity exists. So we're done. We're done with RPPP. RPPP allows you to predict future spot rate using difference in inflation rate between the two countries. Or you might want to predict the future spot rate the same result, exactly the same results, but based on difference in nominal interest rate, not based on difference in inflation rate between the two countries anymore. But now you base your prediction, your forecasting on difference in nominal interest rate between the two countries. And then yes, you should end up exactly the same result, exactly the same future spot rate, exactly the same. Why? Because the Fisher effect saying the difference in nominal interest rate between the countries exactly the same, the difference in inflation rate between the two countries exactly the same. Why? according to the Fisher effect, to ensure that the real rate between two countries exactly the same, to prevent any arbitrage activity in the future. No free lunch. Okay. So in sum, you might want to predict the future spot rate, which is based on different inflation rate between the two countries, or which is based on different in nominal interest rate between the two countries. And then you should expect the same results in future spot rate, exactly the same results. Okay. No matter what, you get your forecast done based on inflation or on nominal interest rate. The same. Okay. Now, however, if you want to calculate or determine the forward rate for the bank dealer or non-bank dealer offer to their clients, their customer, and then the forward rate must be calculated basing on difference in nominal interest rate. That's it. You cannot calculate a forward rate which is based on different in inflation rate between the two countries. No. Whenever you try to calculate a forward rate right now today, you have to base your calculation on difference in nominal interest rate. That's why we have interest rate parity. The interest rate parity condition allow you to calculate a forward rate, which is completely depend on difference in nominal interest rate between the two countries. However, because the input difference in nominal interest rate between countries allow you to predict a future spot rate. The same input, nominal interest rate, difference in nominal interest rate between the country also allow you to calculate the forward rate today. And hence, the forward rate today actually is unbiased prediction, unbiased predictor of the future spot rate. Yes. And I'm hoping I did answer the question. If not, keep asking.
I'm fine, teacher. Thank you.
Are you sure?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. And anything else, you guys? Anything else I can help you with? Any question? No? Okay. Let's do a quick class studying check and then that's over today. And the result for your presentation is 1 earn a mark of 9. 2 of you earn a mark of 8 and 2 of you earn a mark of 7. Okay. And looks again, it's still very difficult for me to tell difference. Some get a little bit higher, some get a little bit lower mark, just because the way you take my question. Okay, you took my question and give your answer to my question. That's it. Okay. And let's do class and check real quick, real quick.